This is a rationale for classroom-based physical activity promotion, a program to enhance the health of Alaska's youth. So for my problem statement, according to the data from the Centers for Disease Control, 17% of all children and adolescents in the United States are obese. Since 2005, the childhood obesity rate has tripled. So like the slide show, the obesity is a major risk factor for many chronic diseases. But in addition to nutritional habits, low levels of physical activity are associated with an increased risk of obesity and the related health issues. So the target population is the children and adolescents. The reasoning behind this is essentially the high obesity rates for Alaskan children and adolescents, on top of the fact that obese children and adolescents are much more likely to become obese adults. I think that targeting the school-aged populations have the most potential for long-term success. And currently, if you look at the Healthy Alaskans 2020 scorecard, the current data shows Alaska, is not on track to meet the goal for improving the obesity rates within high schools and K through 12. It's getting worse, and so far we're not going to meet the goal. So I think that targeting the youth is, of course, the most important place to start. So some more facts that demonstrate the scope of this problem is that the Centers for Disease Control released data in 2013 stating that 15% of Alaska's youth did not participate in at least 60 minutes of physical activity on at least one day during the week. And what that means is doing any kind of physical activity that increased their heart rate and made them breathe hard for most of the time, 7 days or more before the survey was completed. And then 57% did not attend physical education classes on one or more days in an average week when they were in school. And 40% did not play on at least one sports team run by their school or community groups during the 12 months before the survey. And I think that fact is really important because it shows that these kids are not getting any form of physical activity outside of a. So for the solution, the CDC recommended that state and local government officials create partnerships with community members such as child care providers to make community changes that promote a healthy and active lifestyle. Schools are an ideal setting for reaching the target population of Alaska's youth in order to make lasting health improvements. One of the recommendations given by the CDC is to promote physical activity through school-based interventions that incorporate exercise into the classroom setting. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the exact study that that I'm using as a reference or I would like to use as a reference for my final project, but I had remembered reading an article about a program in which the classroom, certain classrooms, like a history class, took 2 days out of the week to actually give the lecture for that day while the class was walking outside. So basically, the teacher would lecture and the class would just follow them. And I thought that was a really interesting idea because it would be really cost effective. There wouldn't be, after you have to, of course, sort out the details, but it wouldn't cost a lot of money and it would simply be a change of scenery. The teacher on a nice day, given the weather, would just take the kids on a walk, or you could really tailor that idea to do anything to incorporate some sort of physical activity into a daily lesson plan. And doing it in a school setting would give the opportunity to measure the outcomes and evaluate the program to see if it's actually working. I just thought that was something really unique that I want to continue to research and look a little bit more in depth into it to see if it would be an interesting project. My national campaign is the Play Everyday Healthy Futures Challenges. Play Everyday Healthy Futures Challenge to fight childhood obesity and inactivity. And I think that something along the lines of incorporating exercise into additional classes would be a really, really good way to extend this program. It's just another way to promote these active lifestyles as a everyday thing and not as something that these kids have to learn, just something that becomes part of their everyday life. And I think that that is a really, really big factor that will influence so many other things, including nutritional support and the way they view health as a whole. So yeah, I would from here, I'm going to have to do a lot more research into it, but that's where I'm going to go with that's the direction that I'm going in my final project, and would love to hear if anybody has any input. I will leave a few seconds for my reference slides.